We are talking about the best teams in Marvel Strike Force, and without a doubt, this video might be the most important video that you could watch, especially if you are a free-to-play player. The reason why we're saying this is because the game continues to adapt, change, and evolve, and we have to do the same thing. Otherwise, we get left behind. Now, we're not saying this in a fear of missing out kind of way. We're just noticing that there's a lot of questions. People are worried about how the economy functions, and there's people that simply aren't keeping up with the information, and that's what's causing some of the problems. The number one team I would recommend building right now in Marvel Strike Force is the Symbiote 6 team, as you see right here. Now, individuals who have been following this channel just heard me say something absolutely shocking. The reason being is because generally I'm always going to tell you to build one of the top 2 teams that you see on the list. There's sometimes going to be some adjustments to that, but the top team is usually the spender team, and the team coming after that is the free to play team. And as we scroll down, the Symbiote 6 goes a little more than a little bit past that mark. So why would I change my stance on this issue? Once again, it's because the game has changed. So I'm going to encourage you to build this team, but there is going to be some caveats here. There's going to be a couple things that we have to keep in mind that you might have to weigh if you're going to do this. First and foremost, is this character right here, Quicksilver Symbiote, is he available to you right now on a free-to-play basis? So one important thing to consider, is this event still available? We're talking about the Fear Tower there with the symbiotes. Is this still available? As you see, the countdown is a little less than 5 days from when I'm recording this video. So when you're seeing this, that time may be reduced. Essentially, come Friday, this event will be gone. And this is the main method that we use to unlock Quicksilver Symbiote. He's a linchpin member of this team. He's the thing that's really going to make this thing go. So without him, it would not be advisable to build the team. In addition, as we go over here and look at the command center, the other members, right, depending on where you are you able to score enough points to acquire some of these other members? So we see Riot is available here in the brand new day celebration. And then in the the Breaker of Nature month 1, some other awards there are for Toxin. So depending on where you are in that process, if you're able to unlock these other characters, right? So we need Symbiote, Quicksilver, we need Riot, and we need Toxin. If you're able to unlock those characters free to play, then you check all those boxes, then I would consider building the team. We're going to switch gears to my new player account here just to really drive the point home to help you understand what's going on. So Quicksilver Symbiote, Riot, and Toxin are the main members of that team. They're the new members. The other 2 characters, Venom and Null, have been reworked. So the foundational characters, once again, Quicksilver Symbiote, Riot, and Toxin. So if you have access to them, then I would consider building the team. Now, you could just unlock the characters and not necessarily build it at this time. Just make sure that you can unlock them. Because since this is an older team, so to speak, it's not super old. It's only maybe 1 month old. But if you build it, you will be sacrificing another team coming down the line. That's just how the game works. We're only allowed to build 1 team a month free to play. So if I'm building this one, I'm building it out of order. So that will mean I will be sacrificing another team coming up down the line. And we need to make sure if that is something we want to do or not. So once again, we could just unlock the characters. And if we decide to do that in the future, we can. That's probably the safest bet. This is an arena team. Arena teams only come out once a year. That's the only reason why I'm advocating for this in this situation. And arena teams are the best overall teams in the game. Team number 2 on our list would be the Amazing Avengers. The Amazing Avengers are a raid team. Raid teams from a free-to-play perspective are supremely important. Once again, raid teams generate our gear. We need that, right? If we've been paying attention to the channel, we saw we had some gear issues. So some people might advocate that, hey, you can skip these teams. You don't have to power them up. On the free-to-play side, I wholeheartedly disagree. Build your raid teams, build them strong. They are the 2nd strongest team in every game mode. So if you're playing Alliance War teams are the best, but raid teams are the 2nd best. They're the 2nd tier. Strong raid teams are able to beat older war teams. And the same thing happens in Cosmic Crucible. In addition, with these towers that are being built, these raid teams are what we use in many cases in order to get through those opening floors so that you don't have to use the specified teams that you need later on. So I would argue, right, I'll take we can talk about it in the comments, but I'm going to argue, especially on the free-to-play side, that your raid teams are the most important teams, period, in the game. We don't want to skip out on them. Now, we recall, if we've been following the channel, we had a problem that we need to figure out how to solve that really came to the fore last week. Here's Hulk, a member of the Amazing Avengers. As you can see, those 2 gear pieces there, we still did not have. We're trying to build a team and we keep running into these gear shortages. And we want to make sure that we're able to build the way I do it. Can I build this character before the next character comes out? That means that I'm building things effectively. If not, then I'm starting to fall behind and have a problem. Can I build team 1 before team 2 comes out? If I can do that, I think I'm moving forward appropriately. If not, then something's wrong and I'm falling behind. So I always like to stress, I'm building these teams right along with you. I've been logged into this account for 168 days. So I have a main account that I've been playing for 8 years. I play a new one every year to kind of keep track of how the new player experience is and help guide people along. And this is how far we've gotten at this point. And so this is where that concern came in. We needed those 2 gear pieces on the Incredible Hulk. And now Rachel Cole is available, right? We finished our strike pass. We're going to be moving on to a new strike pass in about 24 hours. So the new character is here, and I was stuck on still building an old character. So were we able to bridge that gap or not? So last time we spoke, once again, this was my Hulk, and we were desperately trying to get those last 2 pieces. It was proving to be a struggle. And as you can see here, we did indeed succeed. We got our Hulk here to level 100, gear tier 19. But again, we were taught a very, very valuable lesson while we were doing this. Rachel Cole also was unlocked, and I didn't struggle at all when it came to building her, right? We just put the dial up. We were able to bring her up to gear tier 19 and put all her gear on day 1. The second she came out, we didn't have to farm anything. So once again, we learned something very, very important that we need to keep in mind. One of the reasons that we were short on that gear is because we had a lot of characters in a short period of time that were using the same gear. The Symbiote 6 characters that you see here, with the exception of Null, all take bio gear. They all take the same gear. They all take bio gear. And if we look at our Amazing Avengers, many of these characters take the same gear. Spider-Man, Hulk, and Spider-Woman Julia, who has yet to arrive, who's the next character that we want to build, all once again are bio characters and take bio gear. So there was a shortage because we were all looking at trying to get a hold of the same type of gear. That is encouraging me now to change the way that we build our teams, change the way that we make sure we get the things that we need. We are 100% saying that the Amazing Avengers are a team you should be building, right? They are the team you should actually be building right now. If you're going to skip a team, it is not this team, right? We said we might have to sacrifice something. It's not this team. We need the Amazing Avengers, especially if we're free to play. They're a raid team. So we want to make sure that we build it. The important point is the lesson learned, right? We anticipate once again that Spider-Woman Julia will be the next character release. We believe that she'll be in the next strike pass, and that's going to be her free to play release. We do not know if we have enough gear to build her yet. So the thing that we're going to change is using what the game gives us in order to get the resources that we need. So we're going to be paying more attention on our shop credits, our campaign energy, and our gold. We're going to flex those 3 things and focus them in on the team that we're working on, especially when we have to continue to build using resources that we don't have, right? So in this case, a bio character, and we already built a couple more bio characters, we might not have the equipment for that. So for example, regarding shop credits, you see here that we have Icarus and Cersei. They're on the Timeless Eternals team, which are on this list. But you see, we're not going to farm them at this time because we need to save those shop credits. We only had 7,000 last time we spoke. We now are up to 130,000. In itself, that's still not a lot, right? That's still not a lot. So we're just stacking what we need. waiting for the character to come out. And then if we have to shift and use our shop credits to get the gear on the character, we have that available. Teal gear is where we ran into the most trouble. And so once again, we may use some gold, right? Gold, we got to see how much we have. We're not saying that this is the first thing to do, but we may use some gold in order to start acquiring some of these pieces. This will not be the first method. The first thing we're going to do is go to our shop credits. And then depending on how the game is going, the second mode is either going to be gold or campaign energy. Because I have the characters built at the moment, I don't have a great way to show you this, but this is the illustration that we need to understand. So what I would do is I would just hit that find button. We're just going to pretend that this is teal gear. It's orange gear. We're just going to pretend it's teal gear. You would hit find and you scroll all the way to the other side. And this will be the campaign nodes that you could do that would have that gear. Now we're only going to do this if we have extra energy. So you see up at the top there, I have a 1,000 campaign energy. So I just do what I do every day. I'm going to go ahead and refresh my campaign energy by the 50s. And I'm going to stop when it starts asking me to do 100. I'm going to stop there. We're just going to do the 50s. And then what I would do is I would use that campaign energy to farm things the way I normally do. So depending on where you are, you're going to be working your way through the campaigns. You might be picking up a character or two, but if you're at the end of the campaigns, then we're just going to go there and we're either going to farm the nodes here that are gold or the ones that have training materials, whichever one you are short on. I'm going to make sure that I do all of that first. Plus, we recognize that there are new farmable characters of the Shadow Conclave that are going to be coming. And when they hit these nodes, I'm going to make sure that I get them as well. I'm not saying that Shadow Conclave is on our list. They are not on our list. But if we have the availability to farm them, we're going to go ahead and do that. So then, and only then, I would come here to the campaign section and go after that piece of gear. We have to remember that it is a chance for said piece of gear. So this is not a guaranteed way to farm. That's why we don't want to use the energy here when we could have already used it in our normal farming procedure. We want to make sure we get through our normal farming procedure first and then come and do this. So we'd used all of our teal gear in the past. We are starting to amass a little bit. We predict that we're going to run into that bottleneck yet again. And this probably is something that's going to be relatively permanent. So again, that's why we do our raids, things of that nature. And we have to start focusing in on what it is we're trying to build. Shop credits seem to be increasing. We'll see if it's enough to get things done. That's very, very important to keep in mind as we move into team number 3, the Timeless Eternals. Timeless Eternals look like they're going to be a very, very important team. Some of the information that we're getting is that they're going to allow us to go through the elite missions in Battle World. So if you are a newer player, you needed the Daring Warriors in the past to do that. In order to get your Daring Warriors up and running, you would have to build another team, either the Champions or the Winter Guard. You needed to do that to unlock Eclipse. Eclipse is the engine for the Daring Warrior team. They're a decent team. They're good in Cosmic Crucible. But again, we only get enough resources to build one team a month. So if you have to go back and build another team to unlock this member just to build that team, that's a whole lot. And we simply don't have the resources to do that. So if we just go ahead and build our Timeless Eternals, it looks like we're going to be able to do those elite missions, which slowly weaken the boss over time, just naturally. And then so the only other question is will the Timeless Eternals get some type of perk when fighting the Battle World boss? We know they will for the next boss, which is going to be the Destroyer, but we're not sure if they're going to help us out with the Maestro, which is the current Battle World boss. We can assume so, but we'll have to see. The event is starting again really soon, so we'll be able to keep eyes on it and see if there's been any changes. Now, we said that this is one of the important teams to build, but notice, for example, there I have Kingo unlocked, but I have not powered him up. Why? Because just like we just said earlier, all of the Eternals take Mystic gear. So again, all of the Eternals are Mystic characters. They're all going to then take the same gear. So we don't want to start stressing, right? I didn't want to be forced into a situation, or not forced, but tempted in a situation to use my shop credits to start getting gear to make sure I can power up these characters when I have not yet finished powering up the amazing Avengers. Okay, so this is a very, very important point. It's something that we really need to keep an eye on because, again, this is one of the changes that's happening in the game right now. And again, it causes some confusion. So if we just look through the last couple of teams, we have the Dread team, which we're not going to build. That is not a free-to-play team. Make sure you unlock Scorpion Breaker. Make sure you unlock Scorpion Breaker. He is a usable character. Don't listen to what other people are saying. I'm not saying he's awesome, but he's a usable character, especially if you're relatively new to the game. He's strong physically, and he'll help you as a plug-and-play character. The rest of the team, the Dread team, are not a free-to-play build. Therefore, they are a premium team. So we're not going to build them. They are not on the list. Number 3, we had the Timeless Eternals. Number 2, we had the Amazing Avengers. And number 1, we had the Symbiote 6. The interesting thing is right now, all 4 of those teams, you have a way to unlock members or those members are available. So it gets confusing as to what we're supposed to be doing. We can only build one team of 5 characters a month. If we're talking about 4 teams, that's 20 characters. It's not anywhere near what we're able to do. So we need to prioritize things and make sure we're building them in the right order. So on the free-to-play side, if just because a team is available, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to build it. Make sure that we're building things in order. And I believe that things are probably going to get a little bit more confusing relatively recently because Thena is coming out this week, right? This will be something that the spenders can buy. We'll have to wait for the free-to-play option, but people can buy the character in a couple of days, which would then mean that all of the teams are available from the spender perspective, and you can't leave people with nothing to do. So we should be getting an announcement relatively soon about what the next team is going to be. And in traditional fashion, right? Teams are going to have new characters and they're going to have reworked characters. And we don't want to get confused and start building again the 5th team when we're only going to be on team number 1 or team number 2. Am I making sense? Ask questions there in the comments if you need clarification. But the Timeless Eternals look like they're a very important team. We're going to say that they are the 3rd team that we should be building on our list of 3. We know that was a lot of information. Please feel free to ask questions if we didn't grab it. We believe that this is really actually the path forward. Since we have these towers and other game modes that are giving us one of the main characters of each team, if we're not able to get that person, then we just maybe unlock the characters, don't build, and just kind of wait. Those events do come back around. So Symbiote 6 is team number 1. Amazing Avengers is team number 2. Timeless Eternals is team number 3. In that order, if you are a free-to-play player, we're not going to build the Dread team. So then the question is, will this character here, Spider-Woman Julia, will she be available the next time we speak? And will we be able to build her? Will we run right back into that same bio issue? And if we already saw a problem with the bio gear, then what happens when we move into the Eternals, when all those characters are mystic characters? So we'll just try to go slow, take our time, keep chewing our way through. This can all be done free to play. The naysayers, they don't know what they're talking about. We've been doing it here for years. We just have to adjust the way the game also adjusts. So we'll see if we're able to get it done next month, or next week, couple of days, whatever. Continue to ask questions. And if you haven't seen this video over here about the Destroyer, about the Eternals, please check it out. It's legit.